Welcome back to the Six Pack Dad Tribe podcast. I'm Kris, the GM of the tribe and also one of the tribe's professional coaches. And today I'm talking all about time efficient training strategies for busy executive dads. One of the biggest constraints that all busy executives have, and especially executives that are dads, is that they lack time. They have a finite amount of free time. And so fitting in exercise into their life is very difficult. And so this presentation is going to be how to do that. What methods exist for you to do to get awesome workouts in a short amount of time. But before we get into the different methods I have prepared for you today, I want to talk about the principle of consistency over what's optimal. I think a lot of us kind of major in the minors when we think about starting a fitness program, and we think about what's most optimal, what we think about what's the best exercise, what's the best routine, and we forget that we don't have much time to begin with, and that's why we haven't been exercising consistently for several years. And so before we worry about what's optimal, what's the best exercise for chest growth, this and that, we need to get into the habit of exercising consistently. We need to worry less about the details and worry about the basics of, can I just exercise consistently for more than a month? Can I get into that habit where no matter what, I'm still training frequently every single week? That is what we focus on with our guys in the tribe, especially in phase one when you're starting out your fat loss journey, trying to lose some weight, just get back to being healthy and fit. It's less, we're worried less about the details and just focused on getting reps in, showing up, building that habit. And that eventually that builds a base for you to get into more advanced stuff later on. It's not that we don't get our clients into more advanced stuff, but you have to earn that. And so when we think about designing training, we need to think about, especially when we are busy executive dads, when you think about what is what are our time constraints, how much time do we have, and how easy can I make this for myself? So at the tribe, to do this for our clients, what we do is we design 15 to 30 minute workouts using minimal equipment, typically just body weight and dumbbells. That way you can pretty much do this anywhere. Hotels have at least have some, some amount of dumbbells. Most people have this equipment at home. That way you don't have to travel to a gym and use fancy special equipment that you might not have when you're traveling, because a lot of executives travel. So we need to keep that in mind. And then, yeah, it's short. It's 15 to 30 minutes because most people at least have 15 minutes in their day. And there's ways to get a really effective workout in 15 minutes. I'm going to show you how to do that. So again, the following is oriented towards those just starting their journey, beginning clients. These are not workouts designed for more advanced people who are looking for more, muscle growth specific. Again, we do get there in phase two with our clients, but that's not what this presentation is about. So the following is going to be three different methods to improve both your cardio and your strength and muscle mass, specifically in a fat loss phase where you're short on time and just trying to get into the habit. So number one, hit cardio. This is endurance and conditioning specific. So this is not going to really help, with strength training or building muscle. This is to improve your conditioning, your cardio, your endurance, which is very important because a lot of guys have lost their conditioning over time. Just sitting at a desk, you don't move very much, and that really, really hurts your cardio. And a lot of we meet a lot of guys coming into the tribe that are getting out of breath, going up a flight of stairs, can't really keep up with their kids, and so this is going to help you improve that. So what HIIT cardio is, it stands for high intensity interval training. And very simply, that is when you alternate between easy work and hard work. And it helps you get more done in less time. Research shows that you get the same benefits when it comes to health, cardio, capacity, fat loss with HIIT in about half the time compared to long duration steady state cardio. So this is not to say that long duration steady state cardio, going for a 30-minute jog, an hour long jog, whatever it might be, is not effective. Again, it's just as effective as HIIT, but HIIT gets it done in half the time, which is really, really helpful for someone who's really short on time. So that's why we recommend it to most of our clients. So there's a bunch of different ways to do this. One of the most traditional, kind of most principled way to understand HIIT and to go about HIIT is picking a certain work to rest ratio. So typically a good starting point is a 1 to 2 work to rest ratio. So this looks like 30 seconds of work, so where you're going hard, and then 60 seconds off where you're going easy. If that is too hard, you could regress and do a 1 to 3 work to rest ratio. So you're doing 30 seconds on and 90 seconds of rest. And if you're really, if you're pretty advanced, have good condition, you could do 1 to 1. So 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. You could also manipulate the duration of your work to rest ratio. So you could do a minute on, 2 minutes off, just depending on your goals is how we would edit that for a client. But this is a good starting point. Picking any implement. It could be a bike, an assault bike. It could be a rower. It could be running. Again, doing 30 seconds on, 60 seconds off. Doing 48 rounds. That roughly totals anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. You'll get a really great workout in. What I recommend for this one is on those work intervals, take it, go medium, like a 6 or 7 out of 10. Don't go all out because what feels fine initially on that first rep, when you get to your second or third work interval, is going to feel really hard to maintain. So kind of ease into it, especially if you're just starting out a program. So that's a very basic way of doing HIIT. And again, that's how HIIT is designed. It's work to rest ratios. In the tribe, we recommend a simple 15-minute HIIT workout where you alternate between 1 minute at an easy pace, 1 minute at a medium pace, and 1 minute at a hard pace. You cycle through that 5 times for 15 total minutes. Again, any implement works here. Typically, our clients are doing elliptical. Again, you could do a rower though. You could do running. You could do, cycling. It doesn't really matter. All are going to help you hit your cardio. What I like about this workout is that it's subjective to the person. So whatever 1 minute of easy pace is to you is where you stay at. Same with a medium pace, hard pace. There's nothing prescribed like you have to go at a certain intensity. So that's another great way to go. Again, there's not one that's better than another. There's just different ways to skin a cat essentially. Number three is bike EMOMs. This is one that people don't know a lot about. It's one of my favorites. It's fun. EMOM stands for every minute on the minute. And so what you'll do using a bike or an assault bike specifically, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later, is 10 seconds hard, 50 seconds off. So you're doing a pretty significant sprint and then resting for 50 seconds. You repeat that 10 times, so it's about roughly a 10-minute workout. And I like an assault bike for this. And what an assault bike is a bike with that also has handles where you push and pull. And this gets your full body working. Almost every muscle and joint in the body is working on an assault bike, and it's just a brutal conditioning workout. Assault bikes are awesome. If you have a home gym, invest in an assault bike. They're pretty pricey, like $500 to $800, but they're well worth it. One of the best cardio tools out there. But again, this could be done on a bike as well. That's the best tool for this specific form of HIIT. So that's HIIT training. Again, that's to improve your conditioning. Now let's get into strength training specific muscle growth oriented work. So one of our favorite recommendations for strength training specific, short workouts is, and this is the method to do it, is superset weight training. So again, this is not going to give you a big cardio stimulus, but it is going to help with improving your strength, retaining your muscle in a fat loss phase, if not building some muscle. And so what a superset weight training is alternating between different muscle groups, typically opposing muscle groups. So like working your chest and then working your back or your hamstrings and your quads for your legs with little to no rest in between. And supersets allow you to do this because while you're working your chest, your back is resting. And then while you're working your back, your chest is resting. And so you're able to condense your workout and fit it in without getting too fatigued. So it basically allows you to take a typical strength training, traditional strength training workout where you do 3 sets of bench and then 3 sets of rows and just condense those two together. Saves you a little bit of time, about 20 to 30% is chopped off your workout. You don't always have to do opposing muscle groups, though. You could do completely different muscle groups. So you could do like a superset of bench press that works your chest, superset with squats that works your legs. And it's the same principle. While you're hitting chest, your legs are resting. While you're hitting squats and hitting your legs, your chest is resting. So you're able to go back and forth very quickly. So an example workout here, an upper superset would be bench press superset with dumbbell rows. Let's say you're doing 12 reps of each. So you would do 12 reps on bench press, no rest, straight into 12 reps on dumbbell rows. Then you would rest for about 90 seconds to 2 minutes in between each superset and then repeat for 3 total sets. Lower superset would be very similar. It would be squats, superset with hip thrusts, 12 reps of each. So you do 12 squats, immediately into 12 hip thrusts. You're working opposing muscle groups. So again, while you're hitting your quads via the squats, your hamstrings and kind of your glutes are resting. And then when you're hitting hip thrusts, your hamstrings and glutes are primarily working. Your quads are getting a little bit of a rest. Although lower supersets tend to be really, really hard. And again, you would rest in between each superset and you repeat for 3 sets. So that's what that would look like. Again, you could design a whole workout with just pairs of supersets. So an entire workout might look like for upper body, bench press and dumbbell rows is your first superset pair. And then maybe it's shoulder press and lat pull downs as your second superset pair. And then finally, for some isolation work, you do bicep curls and tricep push downs as your last superset pair. Again, all of those are opposing muscle groups, allowing you to get more in less time. The last method is circuit strength training. And this is great for getting kind of the best of both worlds, depending on how you design it. So you'll get both a cardio stimulus and a strength stimulus if you do a full body circuit. And I'll walk you through what a workout like that looks like. But what a circuit is when you do multiple exercises in a row, typically three or more with little to no rest in between exercises. Typically, these are designed where you're doing fully different muscle groups every exercise. But you could also do a circuit that's designed to hit a specific group of muscle groups. So one's a full body circuit. So let me give you some examples here. An example workout, this would be a full body circuit, would be squats followed by rows, followed by lunges, followed by push-ups, followed by curls, followed by sit-ups. So six exercises hitting, various different muscle groups. So again, you're not hitting the same muscle group back to back, so it allows you to rest and keep moving. This elevates your heart rate and keeps it elevated across the pretty much the entire workout. So again, you're hitting both muscle and getting muscle benefits and strength benefits here, also cardio benefits. You would do 10 reps of each, 15 seconds of rest in between each exercise. So basically enough rest to transition between each exercise. And how I like to design these workouts is just tell someone to set a timer for, whatever time they have. So let's say it's 15 minutes or maybe 20 minutes. And you just try to get as many rounds in as possible within that time frame. So as the timer's counting down, you're just going to continue working. I do recommend in between each circuit. So once you've completed all six exercises, you rest for at least a minute or two just to catch your breath and get ready for the next round. So that is a full body circuit. That's going to give you a good mix of both strength, full body strength and muscle growth stimulus and cardio stimulus. Because again, you're working in basically nonstop. So it kind of helps you get the best of both worlds. Now, you could design a circuit where it's a little bit more strength and muscle oriented versus cardio. And an example of this would be like a chest, shoulders, tricep circuit. So you are working very similar muscle groups in just a certain group. So it's more condensed on a certain area of your body. It's going to really blow up those muscles. So an example of this for chest, shoulders, triceps would be push-ups, followed by lateral raises, followed by tricep pushdowns. You could do 15 reps of each, 15 seconds of rest between each exercise, and then you could rest in between rounds as well here. You don't need to do as much time because it's more focused, so just 10 minutes total, and you're trying to get as many rounds as possible, just like the full body circuit. But again, there's a little bit of overlap with each exercise. So push-ups hit your shoulders and your triceps and your chest. Lateral raises hit your shoulders. Triceps hit your triceps in isolation. And so you're putting a lot of work on specific muscles. Going to give you a little bit more of a muscle growth and strength stimulus, and just a different way to do it. Not as much cardio. So at the Tribe, we like to have a balanced approach. We like to incorporate both of these. Again, there's a bajillion ways to go about this and design a weekly structure to design your workouts. It just depends on what you like, what you have equipment for, in your time constraints. But this is kind of a rough structure of where we would start someone out if they were starting out in phase one fat loss in the Tribe. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, they would do 15-minute hits, so cardio specific work. And then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they would either do a full body, strength circuit where they're getting both strength and cardio stimulus, or you could do a more body part specific strength circuit, again, emphasizing more muscle growth and strength. And how we would design this would be like maybe, Mondays is, chest, shoulders, triceps, Wednesdays is back and biceps, and then, Fridays is legs and abs. Or again, there's a bunch of different ways to do it. And that way you're getting the best of both worlds. Because again, when you're just starting out, you're a beginner client, you're trying to just improve your health. We don't need to get super specific. We just need to build a pretty good base of conditioning so that you're getting, not getting out of breath, just going up a flight of stairs. Condition your joints and your muscles, build some base strength so that you can just do the things you want to do. Most of us are not trying to become bodybuilders. Most of us are not trying to become power lifters and lift, do crazy strength feats. We just want to be able to like play with our kids, get on and off the ground without hurting or pulling a muscle. We want to be able to run around. We want to be able to go on hikes and it really not like it not fatigue us like it currently is, and it feel like it's really not much. And again, we just want to be able to live our life, be healthier, be fitter. This is the way to do it. This is the way to start. And this is great, especially when paired with nutrition, because ultimately body composition change is not going to be largely dictated by exercise. It's going to be dictated mostly by nutrition. So we like to say in the Tribe, 80% of your body composition results is going to come from nutrition, 20% from exercise. So it's not that exercise isn't important. It's just a smaller piece of the pie. But it still needs to be there. Again, it's still 20% of the equation. It still gives you a good boost. And it gives you a whole host of other benefits. While it might not change your body composition drastically compared to nutrition, you're going to get muscle and joint benefits from it, better cardio benefits. There's just so many other implications outside of body composition that exercise gives us. So we have to remember that as well. So that's what we would recommend. That's how you get in training, both cardio and strength, in a short amount of time. Implement these into your routine, give them a try. And if you would like help in implementing this as part of an entire system with nutrition, mindset coaching, habit implementation, lifestyle change, achieve the best physique of your adult life, reach out. We'd love to help you as part of our one-on-one coaching program.